Hello and welcome to my channel, Don's Follies. Today I'm excited to guide you through the process of building your very own igloo. Here in Summit County, Colorado, we're surrounded by lots of winter snow, renowned powder skiing, and stunning wildlife. To fully embrace our winters, I make it a tradition to build an igloo each year. The igloo, the iconic dome-shaped snow structure, has traditionally been crafted by indigenous Arctic communities. It offers superb insulation and can endure the harshest cold temperatures. While everyone's heard of igloos, how many have actually stepped inside a real one? Building an igloo is not only fun and unique experience, but also a way to connect with nature and embrace the winter season. The joy of constructing an igloo from scratch, shaping the snow blocks and witnessing the structure take shape, is truly exhilarating. It brings you back to the childhood joy of playing in the snow. And finally, when it's completed, the excitement of stepping inside and discovering the cozy interior is unmatched. The curved walls of the igloo also create a unique ambiance, with soft, diffused blue light filtering through the compacted snow. The sound of the wind is muffled, giving a peaceful and serene feeling. Inside, you can appreciate the craftsmanship of the structure, marveling at the precision and ingenuity required to build such a shelter. It's a truly immersive experience that allows you to connect with nature in a way that is both thrilling and humbling. Sharing this experience with others adds to the fun, as most people have never had the opportunity to be inside an igloo before. The mere mention of the word ignites curiosity and intrigue. When given the chance to explore an actual igloo, the enthusiasm is contagious. We'll now demonstrate how to construct a sturdy standing room igloo designed to last until spring, providing about 3 months of enjoyment. This igloo will be 7 feet in diameter with a 7-foot tall roof, offering ample headroom for standing and walking inside, a real wow factor for your guests. Additionally, I'll cover crafting ice luminaries with candles, shaping clear ice windows for the igloo, and comparing interior and exterior temperatures. Now let's get started. So for this project, what you're going to need is snow, about 12 to 14 inches of packed snow from a 20 by 30 foot quarry, packed in both directions. A pair of snowshoes to pack the snow. Additionally, you're going to need a stake. I use a 1-inch PVC pipe, cut 3.5 feet long, with a cotton string 6 feet long. Or you could also use a 2x2 made of wood if you didn't have the PVC. You need a 24-inch carpenter saw with inches marked on it with a permanent marker. You also need a sled with a rope on it so you can drag it and move the blocks easily. In addition, you need a straight edge shovel. Make sure it's a straight edge because you're going to be putting it between the straight lines between blocks. And then you're going to need 2 holders. This is a 1x2 stake with a piece of flat wood on the end with just one screw to hold it on, and that'll work fine. In terms of time, it took me working alone about 30 hours to complete the igloo and the entrance tunnel. I did that over a 5-day period of time. With a helper, the time would be much less. Choosing the location. Begin by selecting an appropriate location for your igloo. Opt for a flat area with sufficient space to accommodate your desired igloo size. It's crucial to choose a spot that remains shaded. The north side of a building or structure is typically the best option. The sun is the enemy of the igloo. Igloo design. This igloo will be built in a spiral pattern where each block is placed in a sequence from the base to the top. This method is both easier and stronger compared to the row-by-row technique. With the row-by-row method, the first block of each row lacks support, making it challenging to manage during dome construction. To start, the igloo will rise as a 3.5-foot cylinder with straight vertical walls. Following this, a 3.5-foot dome will be constructed on top of the cylinder. This design not only looks great, but also maximizes interior space and offers excellent structural strength. Camping the snow. Begin by compacting the snow in both the quarry and the designated igloo construction area. The most effective method to use is snowshoes to pack down the snow. Traverse the area in both directions, ensuring thorough compaction. Allow the packed snow to settle overnight. The packed snow should end up being about 12 to 14 inches deep. Setting the center stake. Hammer a 3.5-foot stake in the center of the future igloo. It'll stop when it hits the frozen ground, so leave packed snow around the stake during construction to keep it secure. Check that the stake is plumb in both directions, otherwise you'll end up with a leaning igloo. Next, tie a loop in the string and loosely place it around the stake. Measure and create a 3-inch loop in the string 3.5 feet from the stake. The knot serves as a marker to position each block exactly 3.5 feet from the center. Leave an additional 3 feet of string beyond the knot marker for measuring the bevel cuts on the blocks. Cutting the blocks. Begin cutting the initial blocks within the interior circle of the igloo, which you can create using the string as a guide. Once you've used up the available snow blocks from inside the igloo floor, repeat the process to start harvesting blocks from the quarry. First, cut a 24 by 18 inch access hole using the saw to cut the edges and then the shovel to dig out the pieces. This snow will be discarded. To cut the first block, saw a 7-inch by 18-inch block. Measure the blocks using the inch marker you drew on the saw. Then cut release wedges on each side of the snow adjacent to the block in the snow surrounding the block. Next, position your saw parallel to the ground about an inch above the ground and cut the bottom of the block. Now place a straight edge shovel blade 1/2 way down in the back of the cut and leverage the block forward about 2 inches. Use this gap to tip the block towards you with your hands. Check the bottom and cut off any grass, leaves, or loose snow. Now you have your first block. When at the quarry, place the block in the sled and slide it over to the igloo site. This procedure will all become very automatic once you have cut a few blocks. As seen in the diagram, each block will be wedge-shaped and positioned 3.5 feet from the center of the igloo. The string will both position the block and set the perfect bevel angles for shaping the block. Set the string up the post to be level with the top of the block. Use the string loop to set each block at the right distance from the center. Next, use the string to mark the proper angle on the 2 sides of the block and saw accordingly. To create the spiral effect, slope the top of each block upward by approximately 1 inch per block. Start by laying the first block, positioning it 3.5 feet from the center using the string loop as a guide. Align the string with the right back corner of the block to set and cut the side angles. Finally, slope the top of the block upward by approximately 1 inch to begin the spiral. Congratulations, you've just laid the cornerstone of your igloo. Second block. Place the second block, now 8 by 18 inches, next to the first. Position 3.5 feet from the center. Use a string to mark the bevels on the edge next to the first block, then cut the bevel accordingly. After moving the block out, clean out the snow between the blocks and slide the second block next to the first. You may require additional shavings to align the joint properly, and you should get a nice thunk when they come together. Ensure close alignment from the back to the front and top to bottom, filling any remaining gaps with snow. Continue adding snow blocks, maintaining a distance of 3.5 feet from the center with an incline on the top, till you have completed the entire first row. As you progress and begin overlapping blocks, ensure to stagger the breaks between the blocks, similar to brickwork. To simplify this, mark the breaks with small skewers to prevent them from being lost in the chinking. If a standard block is not going to cover the break, adjust its length to avoid double breaks. This helps maintain structural integrity and ensures a uniform appearance. Second row. When you meet the first block, measure the height from the last block to the first. If it's less than 18 inches, continue sloping the top of the blocks up by an inch until you reach a full 18 inches. Continue adding blocks until the bottom cylinder is complete. Utilizing the string, we have achieved a perfectly round 7-foot cylinder. Additionally, all the bevel cuts are precisely directed towards the center, establishing a strong and stable foundation for the building of the dome. Cutting the door. We have reached the stage where we require a door for entering and exiting the igloo. First, choose the door's location, often by placing it on the north side to avoid direct sunlight. Next, create a 2 by 5 foot trench perpendicular to the igloo. The blocks from this trench can be used for the igloo. Once the trench is dug, cut out a door that is 2 by 3.5 feet, which will allow comfortable entry on all fours. The tunnel should be delayed to the end to provide easier access during the rest of the igloo construction. Building the dome. You've reached the bottom of the dome when the top of the wall is 3.5 feet from the igloo floor. Now it's time to secure the string on top of the stake and bevel the blocks on all 4 sides. The diagram illustrates that the dome blocks are now beveled on all 4 sides. The string, now fixed on the top of the post, dictates the placement of each block, the 4 bevel cuts, and the rounded shape of the dome. To begin, fasten the string securely on top of the stake. Use a screw eye for a wooden stake, or thread the string through drilled holes on a PVC stake. Ensure that the marker knot is positioned accurately at 3.5 feet and can move freely in all directions, including up and over. After harvesting each block, now we need to cut a bevel roughly 1.5 inches deep on what will be the bottom of the block to initiate the inward tilt. The other 3 bevels will be cut using the string as a guide. Place the block on the wall with the bevel side down, tilting inward, and cut the side bevels as usual. Now the top will no longer be flat. Hold the string up to the outer left corner and mark the slope. Cut the top off on this angle. As you ascend, the blocks may begin to slide off due to the steep angle. At this point, use a holder stick to secure the last block and another holder stick to hold the new block. Proceed with the 3 bevel cuts as usual. Once a block has a block on both sides, it will remain stable. Continue forward, moving the 2 holders along as you progress. The last 2 blocks. You've made it to the last 2 blocks when the hole is about 20 inches across. Follow these steps to finish the dome. Measure a block that will generously cover 1/2 the hole. Slide the block on top of the igloo, covering 1/2 of the hole. And inside the igloo, saw along the existing blocks through the new block. The block will slowly settle into place. Repeat this process with the last block. Congratulations, you now have a complete igloo dome. Well done. The tunnel. Before constructing the tunnel, it's important to clear out any excess snow inside the igloo using a shovel and sled, leaving about a 3-inch layer of snow on the floor. Once the igloo is cleaned out, you can start designing and constructing the tunnel. Since you are now experienced at cutting and shaping blocks, the tunnel design can be customized according to your preference. In this igloo, I chose to emphasize the keystone in the design, as every block in the igloo serves as a keystone. You may also want to consider using thicker blocks to create a more visually striking effect. Windows. Windows offer a canvas to express your unique style and creativity, allowing you the freedom to choose their shape, quantity, and placement. For an added touch, consider crafting your windows from clear ice. To achieve clear ice, I employ a directional freezer method. This involves starting with a cardboard box insulated with spray foam at the bottom, followed by inserting a plastic storage box and filling the edges with more spray foam. Once set, I seal the top with duct tape. This setup is then filled with double-boiled distilled water, which minimizes the presence of air bubbles and sediment in the ice. Allow the container to freeze outside for 3 days or until solid. After freezing, carefully invert the freezer into the snow to release the ice. Since the ice is fragile, bring it indoors to temper it. Place it on a storage lid to catch melting water and let it reach 32 degrees Fahrenheit. This can be gauged by observing when the ice begins to melt and sweat. Use a hot iron to smooth the top and eliminate any remaining bubbles or sediment on the bottom. If desired, shape the cleaned ice with a chainsaw, taking necessary safety precautions. Position the ice on a piece of cardboard on the snow, using a cardboard cutout of the desired window shape as a guide for the chainsaw cuts. Fine-tune the shape with an iron if needed. To install the window in the igloo, first determine the desired placement from inside and mark it by poking skewers through to the outside. Once satisfied with the placement, trace the window outline on the exterior of the igloo with the saw. Cut a rough hole in the wall about 2 inches in from the inside edge of the tracing, then create a ridge in the 2-inch surround to the depth of the ice. Place a string across the opening and begin to fit the ice into the recess, using the string to remove the ice if needed to get a final fit. Now from inside the igloo, trim the surrounding snow at a bevel to allow more light in through the window. You can trim the holding ridge down to 1 inch for a sleeker look. Luminaries. Just as any home, an igloo needs a porch light. To create an ice luminary, begin by filling a clean 5-gallon bucket with tap water. Place it outside for 2 nights, ensuring that approximately 2 inches of the ice forms around the inside edge of the bucket. Be sure not to allow it to freeze any further. After this, turn the bucket over and empty out the remaining water. Clean up the top edge using a saw and then place a candle inside. This setup will remain lit even in windy conditions. Adding finishing touches. To finish your igloo, it's advisable to include a vent hole at the top for proper air circulation. Further, you can improve the interior by adding rugs, low beach chairs, a small table, and candles for both light and warmth. Placing a blanket over the door will help retain heat, while installing a plywood outer door will help keep animals out and assist in regulating the temperature inside, particularly on warmer days. Congratulations on completing your igloo, and may you relish the cozy and welcoming atmosphere it provides. Maintaining your igloo. Always clear snow from the roof of the igloo and regularly monitor the thickness of both the walls and the ceiling. The ceiling should never be thicker than the walls. Igloo temperature. The igloo's warmth relies on snow's insulating properties. 2 recording thermometers were installed to monitor temperature differentials. Outdoor temperatures, red line, fluctuated by about 35 degrees daily, while igloo temperatures, green line, varied by only about 4 degrees within a day. In an unoccupied igloo, the largest temperature differences between inside and out were about 30 degrees. When occupied with a few candles, the temperature quickly rose to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. On days with sub-zero temperatures, temperature differentials of over 50 degrees can be maintained. I also tracked humidity inside and out. Humidity in the igloo generally stays above 90%, dropping slightly when occupied. Life cycle of the igloo. In our temperate climate, like Frosty the Snowman, an igloo will eventually melt away. However, with proper maintenance, its demise is gradual and poses no threat. Initially, the windows will melt out, followed by gradual melting of the roof and walls, particularly on the sunniest side. After approximately 2 weeks, only the bottom rim remains. The joy of constructing and enjoying an igloo is fleeting, yet enchanting. When built and maintained properly, an igloo can provide approximately 3 months of safe and enjoyable experiences. And there you have it, your very own igloo. Whether you're planning a winter carnival or hosting a backyard party or just looking for a unique winter experience, building an igloo is a fantastic way to embrace the snowy season. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Don's Follies, for more fun do-it-yourself projects. We will also have posted a time-lapse video of the entire igloo building process. Stay warm and see you in the next video.